it's Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you're here, and happy December. It is my favorite month, and my favorite way to document this month is December daily. I am going into my 13th year of documenting this project, and I really wanted to share some ideas and stories that I have come up with throughout the years. Now, I was totally inspired by Linda. Linda loves creating. She had the wonderful, genius idea to post 50 ideas to document December and to use in your project. And I thought, that is brilliant. I did something similar a few years ago on my Patreon. So I have had a little bit of practice gathering up some stories. So I don't know if I'll get to 50 though. I might, we'll see. Whatever I come up with, you'll have to see and follow along with me, and you can get a printable of all my ideas in the description box. I have a free download for you, just a simple list of the different ideas that I have come up with throughout my years of documenting. I started this project in 2011 when my son was just about he was 2.5, and now he's nearly 15, which is really hard to believe. So I hope you guys have a project to do while you watch my video, or a favorite drink, and I hope you guys enjoy seeing my albums and just a look back, and I hope this is inspirational to you as you begin your month of documenting. All right, let's take a look at my albums and see the different story ideas I have come up with. Okay, this is most of my albums. I tried to get the camera as far away from my desk as I could, but you guys, it's just too many albums to try to get in one shot. Down here, I have a stack of my digital albums. This is my first physical album, and then I just stacked more albums, and I have 2 more off to the side. So it's a lot of albums. I was thinking it would be fun to pull some ideas. I'm just going to I'm just going to start at the beginning, so 2011, and pull out some ideas from there, and then show you a few other years as an example, since I continue many of the same stories. So let me clear these, and then I'll grab 2011. Okay, friends, this is my first album, 2011, and I used Shutterfly, and it's still holding up pretty well. But you can see my son was really little, and I did lots of everyday stories. So as I'm showing you the different story ideas, I'm just gonna kind of flip to the idea and then show you some other years as well. So for this one, let's go to my best friend visiting. So this was 2011, and this is a story that I tell every year, and I absolutely love telling this story. Let me grab some more examples to show you. So this is 2018, and this is where it started, and I always wind up doing lots of inserts, and we take this photo every year in front of the tree. So that is an important picture that we take every single year. This was 2021, and it was on the 21st. So I just made, I let this giant number kind of float in there, and then added on festive fun, documented going shopping together, seeing lights, again using a 2x2 page protector since I took so many photos, and I got our tree photo as well. Oh, and here's another really old one. This one is from 2017 or 16. And I took my friend on a bike ride, and then we went to lights at the zoo. So that was a lot of fun. And just seeing how little my son was, and my daughter as well. So fun to see them with their uncle. And then lastly, this was last year. So it's a big change with the kids, but we keep them in the same spot so we can get that photo. So fun to document the get-togethers with my friend. Another story that is really easy to document is obviously getting the tree. So for this particular spread, again, I just used Shutterfly and all the different templates and stickers that they had, so that way I could put this together. for this year, it was 2016, my husband and son cut down the tree, so I grabbed a really big photo of them and I did some journaling with this tag and then used washi strip. I believe this was a sample of the tree. Who knows if it's probably totally crispy at this point, but it was fun to include. And then of course I have all the different photos of us going to get the tree. This is 2013 and I just used Project Life type templates to go ahead and put this together, and it made it very quick and easy. This is another one of us getting the tree. We would do a hands in when we all agree on the tree, and I loved getting this photo. So there's always just a ton of pictures when we go out looking for a tree. And it just continues over here with more photos, and it's just a wonderful family outing to go get the tree. Now I will say, being honest, that last year I was outvoted by my family to get a fake tree because the place where we were getting trees, there was bugs in the trees and it was really gross, and they would come out of hibernation because the house was warm. So we decided to get a fake tree and we put it together. And I just used this photo instead of talking about putting the tree up. I just talked about a currently page, which is another idea that I have on my list. And then putting together the tree is definitely another way to grab another story. Same thing with documenting my kids. I love getting pictures of them in front of the tree. I don't ask them to smile. I just say, just stand there. Do what you want. And it always winds up with silly shenanigans. So that is always fun to see. Now back to this album, I can show you when we put together the tree. Again, it's just some Project Life templates. And then of course, trying to get a photo in front of the tree. But just taking pictures of us coming together to do some decorating. And in this album, 2016, I just started letting the kids really have a lot of fun decorating the tree and just going for it. And at the time, Allie Edwards had given out this free digital stamp that said embrace the mess. So I used that to just talk about letting them go crazy and decorate the tree, and they had the best time. And ever since then, I just let them go for it. I help a little bit, and we put on special ornaments together, but for the most part, they are in charge, which they absolutely love. And then this album, 2020, again, my kids took charge with the decorating, and you can see that I had them I wanted to take their photos, and of course, silliness ensued. And for me, I tried a fancy project by putting the backgrounds in here, and it was so tricky, but I had a lot of fun I remember putting this together and feeling very accomplished because it was a new technique for me. Okay, so another story is, let's flip to the beginning. This is something I love to do in a lot of different albums, mainly December daily and October daily, but I love opening my decor box and just peeking inside and seeing what it looks like and snapping a photo. So this was 2020. Let's go see if we can see some other albums. Okay, so this was last year, and I did this decor photo right after the reason why, and then I opened with a family photo. Like I said, I just open the lid and just snap a photo and call it done, and it works out perfect. This is another special story that I start most albums with, and that is my kids picking out their yearly ornaments. I have done it for years and years, and I used to do this photo at Target with the red wall behind it, but I think a lot of Targets got rid of it, and that's okay. So this particular year, we actually wound up at Hobby Lobby because there was more choices there, but I still got a photo of the kids, and it's so fun to see their growth through the years. So let me grab a few other examples. So this is 2020. And you can see the red wall, and it was nice to see the comparison versus the shelves. This was 2019, and as you can see, I did a half insert for the reason why, and then it started actually on November 29th with getting the ornaments. And then, of course, I had some more late November stories. One last one is 2019, and this was the year that I used the fun app to label the different ornaments, and I should definitely do that this year because I tend to forget to put the year and who picked it on the back of the ornaments. So having that information in my album would be really helpful. So don't forget to label your ornaments or take a picture. Now, as a kind of bonus story, at I think number 51 or 52, I put elf shenanigans because I know not everyone does elves, and I don't know why I still do elves, but they are hilarious. We've had ours since 2011. This just kind of opens up so I can do a letter to the elves, which is always fun to talk about the different things that the elves get into. This one was from 2015, celebrating when the elves arrived. Actually arrived on the 30th this particular year, and they came with mini donuts, which the kids have always loved. And here's another page about the elves. And of course, you can pull this one out and do a flip up so you can see the elves' other pictures about the elf. Now, we love to go driving around looking at lights, so that's what you have here. And I've got so many examples of seeing lights, and I generally stick to a collage or a 2x2 pocket, just so that way I can make it easy on myself because I do tend to take a lot of photos. Let me grab another album. We have a special place that we always go to see lights, and again, just a 2x2 page protector, and also just a main photo here that I really loved. This particular year, I think it was 2020, I went all out with my lights. I loved this photo of my husband and daughter, so I blew that one up really big. And then I think this was actually an idea from Lisa Freckle Pickle. And so I just blew up this photo to go on both sides and just added paper over here and a 2x2 pocket. One last little example of lights. This was in a digital book. Used a lot of templates from Scotty Girl Designs. I believe that's what it was. But just a really big photo spot here of my favorite, and called it Good Enough, because this isn't the only time that we see lights, but this was my favorite, so I just had to make the photo really big. Weather is another fun, different type of topic to document and tell the story of, depending on the season. So I did 6 with the foggy, and then 7 with the frozen winter wonderland. This one I did in 2021, I believe, but it was more documenting the 10 on 10 that I had. But again, it's a story you could use not only about weather, but also from where you stand. And so it has lots of different uses. So another one was Hello Winter. There was lots of ice everywhere and chunks on my car. So even though these weren't maybe the prettiest pictures, I still included them to document the really cold weather that we were having. One of my favorite spreads about weather was in 21. I had some silly selfies that I took of myself in all my winter gear. You can see it's actually a snow jacket and snow gloves. And I just talked about the really cold weather and made this really large photo of me holding the steering wheel in our neighborhood and it being really cold and icy. Another story I really love to capture, and I do not force my kids to participate. I don't like stage this or anything. So sometime throughout the month, I want to capture my kids doing something together, whether it's playing Legos or it's just giving each other a hug at bedtime. I want to capture that. So documenting the relationships, siblings, grandparents, between you and your spouse. Those are all really great stories that you could document. So this is my son giving his sister a hug. This was a simple one from 2017, just sharing the love of Legos, and I went ahead and just added a floating 4x6 pocket for that. For this one, my daughter had just grabbed her brother for a big old squeeze hug, so I decided to kind of document that and where they're at in their like sibling relationship. So always an easy story to document and so much fun to document. Story from 2021, again, reinforces the idea that I don't force my kids to take photos. My son absolutely did not want a photo, but he was being really kind and sweet to his sister and trying to figure out the video game, and they were just sitting there playing on their iPads together. So I captured the photo and I still went ahead and used it. Another easy one is documenting going out on a date with your significant other or your partner. School events are always another really fun one to document, whether you go to the classroom or you go on a field trip, and it's just so fun to document those special memories. I even have ones of when my son was in preschool and we documented Santa coming to preschool and having a fun festive snack. Here's another story that may not always happen for you. It doesn't happen to us that often in my stories, but went ahead and included a story of my son participating in this tournament and just did a floating 5 here. And then just used double-sided tape because I don't know how to stitch, so I just did double-sided tape there. Another story I like to document during December is colors. I think this was actually inspired by another community member. I don't remember who, but this particular day was red, and I did a laminated pocket, which I think is really fun. It's just a piece of lamination. I had finished up the story of us decorating the tree, and I had these selfies, and then on the back I wanted to put about the color red and what it makes me think of, what holidays it makes me think of, and also do I wear red. And then this one right here is the meaning of red, something a little different in my album. And then I just included all the different photos of red. So that was something different. And this year, Allie Edwards did December colors, and that's gonna be a really fun prep page that you're gonna see me put together soon. My daughter and I have baked for many, many years together, and we don't generally bake the same thing. We always tend to pick one recipe that we want to try. So this particular year was peppermint patties, which was such a simple recipe, no baking required, just a lot of refrigeration and making sure that you have, the right consistency for the dough. But that is this particular year, which was 2021. Was all the way back in 2017, going to the grocery store and getting all the different things on our list and then actually baking together. 2017, we just kept it very simple. It was even one of those pre-made kits, and hey, there's nothing wrong with some years where you just need to do a pre-made kit. So we decorated some cookies with sprinkles and frosting, and that was our baking. One last example of baking was just this simple grid page that I did. And honestly, I was struggling with this page because I really had all these cute flares that I wanted to use, but I wanted to stay on this one page. So I just put the flares wherever I want, and it may not visually look great, but it documented the story of baking with my daughter and of course her elf Matilda. Now don't worry, I hope nobody's panicking, but my son a long time ago sent a letter to the North Pole asking special permission to touch our elves. So we can touch our elves, and it is awesome. Makes life so much easier that we can touch our elves. Another long-standing tradition we had was going to the Santa train. This is probably the first year we did it, so 2013, and it was with my mom, and we'd just bring other family members, whoever wanted to come, and it was always so special. So you can see here I took the large photo of Santa and just blew it up, and there's little baby and my daughter and my son, so really special memory. In 2015, I used, again, a lot of Scotty Girl Designs, I believe that's what it's called, and I was huge on these big old clusters right here with all the digital buttons. I love digital buttons, but I just made a really big spread to include all the different photos that I wanted to. The following year was 2016, so I had Grandma and Papa, and I even did a special transparency that I made with some digital stamps. And then you can see I used kind of the video and my notes that I took, and so I just wrote out what my daughter was talking to Santa about, and then I did the same thing for my son. So that was really special to see and to have this recorded now in the album. And I think I just used a template and printed it out, put it in the page protector. Simple and done. Let's jump ahead to 2018, and I did this fun like grid where I pop dotted a few of the photos, and again, I always wind up with a million photos when we did Santa Train, so I just picked some favorites for the page protector and then some for the grid. And of course, I love this photo, so I had to include it in a 4x6 vertical, and then same thing with my son. And of course the Santa Train, and then I have a ticket or like a tag so I can do the journaling. And then 2019 was actually our last year the train. We probably could have done it one more year, but you know, 2020, the world went upside down. So this was our last year. And since it wound up being our last year, I did something special right here, and I'll tell you in just a second. But this is how I documented the day. I did a fun hexagon shaped template and kept it very simple and just did bullet point journaling. And then right here, I took the photo of the very first time. This I think is a fantastic idea, and if I can repeat this with something else this year, I really want to try. So this is a tree that we would always take our picture in front of. And so this was the first year, 2013, and look, oh my gosh, you guys, this is, yeah, one of my all-time favorite things. So you can see this is gonna be our last year, and then I just, same tree, and now look at them, huge. So I love that. So next up, I'm gonna share some currently pages. I love including these. It kind of goes along with the everyday life theme, which I'm a big fan of. I vividly remember this. It was pickup day for the kids, and I had to go run and get them or drop off one of them, I guess, and I got soaked. And so I made a digital card here, same thing here, and then I just talked about currently what is going on the 15th of December. I also did a second page kind of the next day on the 16th. I really wanted to include this big large photo of my son's artwork, so I included that with a card right here to document that. This one also documented kind of a day and what's going on. I believe Allie Edwards did this idea or something, but I loved it, and so I just did let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 different loving things and just a photo of the kids and I. I remember we got stuck at the park when it was pouring rain, and we decided to just go ahead and stay there. It's really fun to just document the everyday little tidbits and just keep it very simple sometimes, very simple. And I tied in the blue here, kind of teal blue, and so I love it. This is 2021, and I took a photo of a donut because I love donuts, and I took this paper, I think it was a 10 by 8, and I just chopped off what I didn't need, and I just stamped all the different little prompts that I could think of. So enjoying, love this season, embracing simple, finding magic, hoping, slowing down, today's story, and so thankful, and this is hard. and then also hoping and loathing. So great currently page. It's very simple, just jotting down what is going on, and that counts as telling your story, right? Next up, let's talk about capturing joy. I feel like that's a big component in December, especially as caregivers and parents. We feel the pressure to make the magic for others, but we need to also remember it for ourselves. So I always tend to try to document a story of joy in my albums. So this was a blanket fort with my kids, or else a princess tent, one of those. We had a very long season of tents and forts, and it was the best. So I captured that here and just talked about how busy life has been with both little kids. The following year was still busy with 2 kids. And Allie Edwards had this quote page, and it says, "Write this on your heart. I can make my own magic. We don't always get to pick the story, but we get to pick how we respond." And I really loved that quote and printed it out on transparency and just added some fussy cut letters for 16. This was definitely a cardboard box. I remember this. I punched holes in the top to put lights through, and painstakingly put lights through this giant cardboard box. And so we just took a break and had the best time making funny videos and capturing some joy. Here's one that I specifically titled Joy. My kids captured me jumping on the trampoline, and it was always like a treat for me to jump on the trampoline. So that was really special. And so I just documented that and a photo, an acrylic, and a tag, and it turned out great. And on the back, I just printed a large photo with a digital stamp with the kids at my feet, because that is just priceless. I just love it. And then just 2 days later, on the 11th, I decided to specifically focus on joy for myself and how I am finding joy. And I think I made this template with digital stamping and the Stories by the Month kit. And it might have been inspired by somebody else, I'm not sure. But I just took photos that I had captured so far of what joy meant to me. So that is joy for this year. Next up was this one, and it's specifically joy as in like being with my family, of course. And I think I had this just laying around, or someone gave it to me, but I just layered it on with a 4x6 card and just documented these photos of my family and I enjoying some couch time. I mean, even here you can see my son's like pretending to pick his nose. So I do not go for perfect in my albums. I go for just look at the camera and don't be like rated R, I guess is what I can say. And then further down in here is another trampoline page. This is like the season of the trampoline for all of us. Now they don't get along on the trampoline. So it is what it is. So I love this saying, magic is something that we make, and then both the kids, and then I used a template to put the photos in and also pop dot a few of the photos. This year, this particular album was big on joy and embracing that magic, I think. So there's a big theme with that. This is it's still continuing with a busy season of life. I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon, but this one was in particular. And we had just picked up our groceries, and I wanted to kind of jot down the details. So I put this fun pocket here, just like you saw from the Santa train. And so I put that right over the top, and then you can flip it open and see the quote. And as soon as we got inside from getting groceries, I had to go back out to the car, and I just took a moment to enjoy the rain and just enjoy the moment. I love the smell of rain, and so yeah, joy is something I love to document. This is 2020, and I did not start the year or start the season with our ornament photos because we had got them early in the year. So we got these before November 29th. So my album started with some fun photos of my daughter and I enjoying hot cocoa. And then I just wrote a letter to December, talking about how I want to capture the magic and how it's been a very hard year. And so I'm just going to do the best I can to really savor this season. And this was last year, just documenting the joys, but also at the same time recognizing that things don't always go the way you had planned. I remember this last year, we were supposed to take a zoo trip. So I had made this big old mind map and I was gonna, add in all the details from that field trip, and then the field trip got canceled because of rain. So the day did not turn out how I planned, but it's just a matter of looking for the joy. And joy for me is always in the little things, and I tend to turn on my candle and my Scentsy warmer only when it's like special occasions. So this turned out really fantastic, and I love the cutout hearts. Thankfully, there's not a lot of like bah humbug type days in my albums, but I like to hide them usually with a card. And then this one had a picture of kiddos craft, and then I just did today was hard and a pull-out tab, so it's kind of hidden. I did a page in 2019 about just being really tired. I think Allie Edwards had given out this digital stamp for free, and my husband took a photo of me reading to our daughter, and I just put all the things that were going on and just tucked it in here. It didn't quite work as well as I wanted it to, because you can see it's not pulling out very well. There we go. So that pulls out, and it's double-sided, and it just talks about, how I was tired. So that is a simple story about being tired. In 2020, we had our tree literally fall down, not expecting it. And I even started the journaling with, in true 2020 style, our tree just went down. And I also included a bah humbug card, and then just talked about, just listed out all the crummy things from that particular day. And last year I did this one where I kind of did the good and the bad. So I did holly jolly, and then I did cotton-headed ninny muggins. I just listed out all the stuff that was kind of frustrating about that particular month. And this next one, for kind of like bah humbug, 2017, my son had to have surgery on his 2 front teeth, so I documented that and how it all went, and also a drawing that he had made about a superhero getting his teeth out. So documented that. And that leads right into the next story, because it's right here, right in front of it, is self-care. It's not something I document every year, but I do like to include it. And back in 2017, it was very rare to get a day to myself, so I wound up taking a million selfies out on the front porch, dancing and just having the best time. And I listed out the different projects that I worked on. On the 16th of 2019, I got a me day, and I just used 2 photos I took, and I think my daughter even cut these out for me, and so it was really special. I didn't not use them, so I wanted to use those, and then I fussy cut out a title. The following year, this was 2019, the one that I just showed you was 2018. So in 2019, I got a me day, and I didn't take any pictures. And I had seen Allie Edwards just do a whole stamp page, so I decided to go ahead and try that. 2020 was very hard to get some me days, but I started working out, and so I wanted to document this. So it kind of goes along with currently finding joy and taking care of myself. So that was just a simple story for the 15th. Okay, so reading is always so much fun to document during December. A lot of years I realized that I skipped telling some stories about reading, but I've been more consistent the last few years. So this is my first physical album, so 2016, and it has all the wonderful preschool books that we used to love and our elves reading the books as well. So really fun to see all these covers of the different books that we enjoyed over the years. The following year in 2017, I believe, I was in a book club, so I documented being in the book club with just a pocket page. This was just a simple paper. I think I cut it down. I don't remember the size that it started out, but my son was really learning to read chapter books, and so I wanted to document that story. You can even see he was reading out loud. So just a really great little story to capture. This is 2021, and I did my first Stampy bookshelf, and these were kind of my favorite books, so I just included those on some of these note cards. I think I just printed out the digital version just to make it easier on myself. I have a lot of favorite pages, but this might be my favorite, one of my favorites. I absolutely love reading with my daughter at night. We are now at the point where she reads her own book, I read my own book, but we still get to cuddle together and the cats join us. So I wanted to document cozy reading is our favorite. So I cut out all the letters with my Cameo along with some branches, and I even recolored some cats from a story kit so that way I could have the cats included as well. And then I just talked about the story of how our reading together has changed and how it's looked over the years. One of my favorite pages. I love it. Another story that doesn't always make it into the rotation is music. So I'm hoping that this year I get to that story because that would be really fun to see what songs we've added and what songs have stayed. So I just did a pocket page to include some of the songs and then just a little letter to music. In 2020, Taylor Swift came out with her Evermore album, and so I decided to make kind of a nod to a CD, and I recreated it. And you open it up and you have the playlist, and then you have the record. I even added in some scratches and put the title Evermore and also some gold stickers. Overall, pretty simple, but again, one of my favorites. Okay, so before I wrap up and just read you my list, I wanted to share the everyday pages that I put together. Now, a lot of my stories throughout my album are related to everyday life, but sometimes I make a specific page to document the everyday photos. Like this one in my digital book, I did around here, and I just put little blurbs at the bottom about what each of these photos mean, since I knew I wasn't going to have a journaling block. This one just documents an ordinary day where we were outside and my daughter just wanted to play in the leaves. And I actually told this story, I think 2 or 3 times in my album, and I just love how happy my daughter is in these photos. In 2018, I used a transparency and decorated it with like a hodgepodge assortment of stuff. And then I did something different with a 2x2 floating pocket, and I just included different stories, even talking to our Australian friends, our favorite show, decorating the outside, and just all kinds of fun stuff, just all thrown together in this page to make a really great story. In 2020, I think this was the year that I got my Cameo, and so I cut out joy on this sparkly green paper and then did gratitude and December stories, and then you flip it and it's a 2x2 pocket with transparencies talking about all the different things that were going on during the month. So for the 22nd, I just talked about, just a short, sweet story about what went on. The 23rd, I think this is just a photo list because this is 24. So 23, I just did photo lists and did some simple stories. And you can see it's just everyday photos. And over here, more specifically every day, I focused on one day, and this was 10 on 10, and I scrap lifted Pam Baldwin, I believe that's who it was, for the transparencies, and just documented all the photos from the day and all the stories. Last year also, this happened on the 10th, but it was a really rainy, yucky day. So I made this big old long title that says, "Oh, the weather outside is frightful, so let's bake, craft, read, play, and scrap." And it's just on a piece of laminate paper. And then I just have a pocket page where we did a craft. This pocket page kind of flips open. And then over here on the other side, I just included more photos from the day. Okay, everyone, if you made it here, I appreciate it. And I hope, like I said in the beginning, that this video is helpful to you and beneficial to you. So now I'm just gonna read you the list. I've gone over a bunch of them in my video. I could have kept going and showing you examples, but I feel like we can wrap it up here and I can just read you the list. And again, this is in the description box, so you can just go ahead and download it. Nothing fancy, just a list. So getting the tree, starting off with number 1, getting the tree, self-care, special ornaments, seeing grandparents, baking, advent calendars, a then and now comparison, your decor boxes, a reason why you do this project, selfies or selfies with filters, you know, the elf ones that they have on Snapchat, phone calls, screenshots, shopping list or wish list, enjoying nature, TV or movies, getting cozy, hot cocoa or other special holiday drink, all the messes, and not just on Christmas morning, reading, school events, decorating the tree, family photos, putting together Christmas cards, your actual Christmas card, packages on the front porch, or just packages of Happy Mail, scents of the season, bah humbug, music, animals, cats, dogs, whatever you got. You could include stories of your furry loved ones. Going to look at lights, everyday stories like Project Life type style, things that bring you joy, outside decoration, list of ing words for a currently page, loving, making, celebrating, watching, sports. And then 36 is focusing on one color, and 37 from where I stand, weather, hugs, wrapping presents, getting together with friends, arts and crafts, holiday themed or just DIY decor, family photos in front of the tree, celebrating your hobby, playing board games, going out to the movies, being tired from all the busy, or any other reason, visiting the library or a library haul, like a stack of books you got, going out with your partner or spouse, gingerbread houses, and then 51 and 52 as a bonus, visiting Santa or elf antics. Whew, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I have thoroughly enjoyed putting it together for you guys. I would love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you are new to my channel. Have a wonderful day, and again, happy December. Thank you for watching. Bye.